Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning coffee. There's a bunch of people here already. This is excellent, always excellent. And there's some chat going. That's what we like. Yeah, thanks for coming along. I only just put the link up about half an hour ago, so extra thanks for coming along. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a show or not this week. I decided this morning, but I couldn't set it up from my phone, so I had to crawl out of bed. Good that. So yeah, it will not be a very long episode today. So if you were pondering a mid-show, a mid-show walk, seeing as they can go on for an hour, maybe ponder it a bit. So it might be more of a 20-minute. Every time I say this, though, it ends up being an hour. Just because I don't have many notes, because there's not that much to talk about this week. But if there's anything specific you want to hear about on Squiddo, just let me know, and that could steer the conversation. But I don't have much in the plannedness, because the last one I did was Monday night, so I was telling you all about the different explorations around the peaks. But since then, I've had 2 days off. Mum's been in Cornwall. She's back now. Hello, Mum. You're nice and relaxed from your Cornwall holiday. Got a good bunch in this morning. Woo! Woo! I've got coffee. I actually put a normal amount of milk in it, I think, so it's quite warm this time instead of my 20 gallons of milk that I normally do. The orb is looking fantastic today, don't you think? The orb there. So yeah, I haven't really been in work much this week, which means there's not much to talk about. And it's one of the weeks that I'd probably normally not do a show, because I've started to try and not do them when I'm in a downer, because I don't want to downer everyone. But I have been quite inconsistent, so I thought you can all join my downer today. I'm sure there'll be non-downer chats, don't worry. So, probably. One, yes, the obvious. Ooh. That I found the lights in the garage. I haven't done anything cool with them yet. Literally just went, I'll whack them there. Look at this Asda. Knocking off my ideas. Not really. We both knocked off guinea pig Halloween costumes, to be fair. But about 50 million people over the last week have sent me links to Asda's Halloween guinea pig collection. So it was inevitable that I had to get it all. Look at those guys. Look at them all. Look at you with your little broom. Look at the little hands on the broom. So yeah, obviously I got the full collection. It's so cool though, and that's totally saying around all Halloween. I feel it was fate, especially because of the vampig just there. Well, bat pig. Got double drinking going on today. Do you hear that? Dave over there. Oh no, Karen over there. Carol there. You can't see because I'll keep that cable. You are not getting near my cables, Carol girl. So yeah, double drinking, and it's not even Dave. Dave's just sat there, but still the two pigs are not as loud as one Dave. So yeah, I don't know where to start with my many notes of the week. I'm going to have a sip of coffee and then we shall begin. As always, because I've not got the best show this week, there's a decent amount of people in the chat. So, especially if this is your first time visiting, please don't judge it by this episode or last episode where I kept mecking about with the lights, or any of the episodes. They're not inconsistent. We have guinea pig mug today, of course. And yeah, me slurping like some sort of animal because I overfilled it as well. Welcome to my ASMR. I don't know what the opposite of ASMR is, just horrible samar or something. So anyway, what has happened? So I haven't actually done much this week because I've been having a brain wibble, so I have been off, which means there's not tons of Bad Squiddo progress naturally to talk about. But I have done a little bit, and I have raged. So raging is something, isn't it? Hey, we've got a good amount of people here today. I'm gonna have to cheer up and be like talk about more stuff. So, all the guinea pigs drink, but not Dave. Nope, Dave's still not in the action. If only I had 3 bottles, then they'd all be drinking. Don't know why. So, I should actually say something of value because it's been a whole 5 minutes, hasn't it? So part of this week's rage was I've been building the Ghoul Kickstarter, which is not rage. The ghouls are fantastic. They are so beautiful. They are all beautiful. I will get to community miniatures shortly because I've got that is actually on my list. So I've been doing ghoul setups, sorting the ghouls out, photographing the ghouls, making sure all the ghouls are painted because it's the 27th, 10 days. 10 days till the Ghoul Kickstarter is out. And it better be good. It better be good. I am not relying on it to solve all my problems at all. So it'd be good that I'm not doing that at all in any way. But I noticed, I think it was Tuesday, there was a the user interface on Kickstarter is terrible. It's so terrible. I was talking to a few other creators that were about how terrible it is for something that gets so much money off you. The amount they have made is obscene. Obviously, over the years, you think they get a little percent of every Kickstarter. The user interface is worse than like really early GeoCities basic web design. It's so bad. But they updated it to make it a little better. But it did change the whole interface. Is that no? It's still Karen drinking loud. Which I thought, oh, that's cool. But obviously, because it's a new thing, it's full of bugs and glitches and stuff. So I started having problems with the images not loading or it not properly saving. So I was losing stuff, and then I quite quickly went, screw this, I'm done. I'm done. I'll do this later. Whereas Fenris here in the comments, he was supposed to launch on Wednesday and was having the same issues. So it was even more of a rage for him. So he's had to postpone Army of Darkness, which is supposed to be live now. When's the new launch date? When's the new launch date, Ian? And then part of whatever day it was, Friday, I think, I spent several hours helping Ian. And still, so mine seemed to fix. Mine seemed to fix fairly quickly. I don't know if it was exactly the same issue in the end, but mine sort of stabilized itself out, and it's still a little bit wibbly, which is annoying. But mine works, whereas Ian's didn't work on any of his devices, any of his browsers, just anything at all. We got Tuesday 19th. So yeah, it's still not working for Ian, but he's got someone putting pictures in for him. Because so yeah, I logged in, hacked into the Fenris account, and deleted all the Kickstarter. Oh, it's such an intrusive thought. I was there in Ian's Kickstarter going, I could just delete it all. Like, no, don't do that. I'm here to help. But your brain's just like, you can just delete it. But I did not. But I was able to really easily upload images and do all the stuff that he couldn't do. And it's just like, what? Why can I do it with exactly the same files? But it's yeah. So there's no consistent. That's what was getting me more enraged. Because someone else that was involved was going, Annie, you need to calm down. It's not your issue, it's Ian's issue. Like, yeah, but it's beyond that now. It is a puzzle that I need to solve because it's making me that annoyed because there's no logic. There's no, and I'm like, I was explaining it as like when the printer doesn't work, but nothing has changed from the printer working to it not working. And you start getting superstitious and you're like, well, when it was working, my mug was over here. So if I do that, maybe. So it was getting like that. And I did just give up in the end. So sorry. And I just cursed. And well, at least mine's working, and then mine was a bit weird later, but nowhere near as bad. So, but it's weird because nobody, like a few other people we spoke to, have had the issue, but it's not like a widespread across the internet and stuff. So my brain's just shut out again. Yeah, it wasn't a huge issue. So I was googling around, on like Kickstarter, Reddit, and all this, and nobody had said anything. So then you're just like, am I crazy? Oh yes, I am. Oh yeah, Lil, you didn't tell me you were getting married. So Fenris's Army of Darkness will be launched on Tuesday. Tuesday the 19th. So keep staying tuned. You can sign up. I'd get him to post a link, but it won't let you because it like auto denies links. But yeah, have a look there. Um, Also, oh yeah, the other intrusive thought was when I was first testing to see if images would work, I just uploaded pictures of guinea pigs, photos of my guinea pigs to his Kickstarter, which was the proof they worked. And then I wanted to just, I said, if it's not working, let's just do a Kickstarter and just put loads of pictures of like Dave and Karen and stuff on, and maybe that'll work. So that's been a bit of an annoyance turned into obsession with me because it's like must solve problem. But I have been able to mostly walk away from it now and just assume that Ian's cursed and there's something. All I can think is there's something to do with internet where he is somehow not allowing photos to upload, but sometimes who knows. So they're all the joys, something that should take a really short amount of time and then it takes a very long time. Hmm. So I've been putting that honey in this as a treat and it's so nice, but I've got to not just have a trillion honey a day. So community miniatures, not the bane of my existence, not the bane of my existence. So the shipping for community minis is September. I've been waiting on the last two getting painted, so that I can get all of the print ordered. And I think I've heard from John that Eleanor's dress is taking a long time, which sounds like it's going to be very nice. So it's taking a long time because it's got a little pattern on it, and because of the heat setting back, heat, hay fever, and all that sort of gets to my painters quite a bit. So it will be shipping in September. It's a matter of when I need to start getting the rest of those cards ready so I can at least hit the order on them. Something that's been at the back of my mind, and I met up with a friend yesterday and I was telling her about it. And she agreed, which was like, oh, I don't want the agreement. I want you to say it's fine. But it's true, when you're not quite sure on something. There's a bit of one of the minis that I haven't been sure. I'm not going to say what or where because it's one of the things that people probably won't notice. And I don't want people to not order the thing or then be hyper vigilant about it. But there's a bit, and it was bothering me, and it was to do with positioning because positioning is very important where bits go for casting. And it's a bit that's in a mold line zone. Not that we get many mold lines. I'm very mold lineless here actually, but it was in that sort of zone, and shouldn't be. And of course, I've had the quantity cast already. So if I change my mind, I have to pay again for them. And things are really tough at the moment. So I keep thinking, is it good enough? And the fact I'm asking if it's good enough means it's not good enough. But then I go on Twitter and I see things that are terrible. Again, I never want to call out anyone apart from Seocast because they suck. But I'll see some casts. Someone will put a close up of something. I saw one in the week, and it was like, "Wow, this cast's amazing." And I looked at it like, "Oh my god, that's horrific! It's full of like mold lines in all the worst places that are avoidable and things like that." And I think, maybe no one cares or notices. Like, that's me, getting myself in more and more like debt trying to get things to look really nice. It's like, does anyone notice or care? Well, like, yes, Annie, you notice and care, and that's why you have a very high quality of stuff. But sometimes it is like I could get casts at half the price and actually make more money, and would anyone notice? But they do, which is nice because I say I've had different casters before. The ones I've had now have been about 6 years or so, and they're absolutely the best. But it's more of a technical issue. It's not the casting issue with this one. And I can't make my mind up. And having somebody else agree, basically, was it was like, yeah, I need to do something about it. But it means going back and basically resculpting it. So one of the minis is going to be delayed, I think. So I've got to talk to the caster tomorrow because it's obviously a Sunday today, and his birthday today, I think. Um, so Louis, happy birthday to Louis. He never watches these, and he's probably hungover. I want now makes sense why I got those drunk texts. But yeah, Louis is Louis' birthday, who is in charge of all the casting for Bad Squiddo. So happy birthday to him. And it was also Hodgson. I noticed when I went on Facebook, I was like, bloody hell, it's everyone's birthday at the minute. It's Hodgson's birthday yesterday of Backdrops Man. He's much more than Backdrops Man, but that's how you know him, maybe, from here. It's also Andy's birthday on Tuesday. Dun, dun, dun. I don't think he's in the chat. I don't think he's up. I think he's asleep. Haven't heard any stirring up there. But it is Andy's birthday on Tuesday. Dun, dun, dun. You'll probably watch it back if he's not here. So I want to wish everyone a happy birthday. It is birthday times around here. Let me just sip a bit of this. Mm-mm. Just reading the comments and drinking. So yeah, birthday is birthday time all around. But yeah, it does mean there's going to be another delay, and it's that like, do I have another delay, or do I send out something that I'm not happy with? And it's just so saying it's been bothering me so much that I'm like, nah, I'm gonna fix it. I'll say afterwards what it was when it was fixed. So there will be a short delay to one of them, but I'll tell you next week when it's confirmed. So once I've got see if the green's in any state to be fixed up, or if it needs like entirely redoing, which is gonna be a whole thing. But yes, and I don't want anyone to get a bad impression, you know, because it's the first of the community minis. I want them to be really, really happy with it. So I also want to do a bit of a painting edit on Black Agnes, which was also mentioned in our beer chat yesterday. It's Saturday afternoon beer. Is it because she's laughing, but she's kind of painted with her eyes a bit too open. So I don't know if I can just do a small edit on it or send it. I could probably do it rather than send it back to someone. Just because where she's laughing, you can see her eyes, but she's sort of like, so you wouldn't really see her eyeballs. And I think that'll make the overall presentation better on it. It's just all these little bits kind of adding up. What else we got? So community minis, yeah, the majority of them will ship. It'll be the end of September, but that one may be held up. But I might. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll update you on it anyway. And if we do change it, it'll be a nice little story because it'll be a you know, how we fixed a problem, and I'll go through the details of what the problem was, and you'll go, oh, that's really cool. I'm glad Annie pays attention to detail and doesn't send us crap. That's it. Woo! So yeah, what else have we got going on? So the community minis. I'm living for ghouls at the moment. So the ghouls 27th, put that in your diary. It's all the goals are straight up on the Kickstarter, no stretch goals. There's a chance if I get from Shane some of these a bit more horror minis, they'll end up if they get here in time and stuff, they may end up being stretch goals. But I don't think there's going to be any ghoul stretch goals because I'm I'm desperate because people don't go back to the Kickstarter. So I've been finding this with stretch goals. Their sales are just so much lower than anything else because people just don't go back. They just make their pledge and go. So with the ghouls, I'm gonna go, here's all the ghouls. We're not gonna have a pledge for 70% of the ghouls and then the extra 30% are add-ons because you're not gonna come back. It's like not everyone, obviously. You're not gonna come back and see those extra 30%. Even when you go to the pledge manager, people just tend to go click through what they've done. So I need all the ghouls to sell. So straight away, it's going to be, here's all the ghouls, please buy them. And I've done some really good deals on them. Also the double deals this time. And I'm really excited that Paul's currently doing the last one, the Ghoul Matriarch. Let me have a look. I will show you, even though I'm not supposed to. Um, where are we? Paul Muller. So there's more progress since then, but I put a bit of um, a zoomed in on Twitter. But this is the progress. She's more built up by now. But there's a little sad ghoul underneath that is literally being stepped on. Yes, yes. There's the other side. Yeah, and that's just the very basic muscle. You can see how he sculpts there, the muscle underneath. She's just going to be sort of on top in like a. So I'm very excited by that, and that's the last one to be sculpted. Um, and yeah, there might just be some in the stretch goals. There might be some sort of skeletal warrior folk. There might be a free model for everyone, which I never do. I always go, you got to buy your stretch goals. But I've got a really cute, really cute skeleton being summoned out of the ground in like a metal chain bikini thing, but skeleton. So I might do that as one of the like, if you've got pledge X or whatever, you will get that free. What wildness is that, eh? Mm-mm-mm. And I've got the wonderful, wonderful art from Patrice as well. And I was trying to figure out what to do with it because my old, my main print suppliers of, well, they didn't go bust. They went into administration and Phoenix, the worst company thing ever. Um, so Awesome Merchandise are who we used to use. And oh yeah, I never really mentioned this on stream, I think. Because at the time I was still waiting on my last order and I thought I'll just give them a bit of time. So Awesome Merchandise I've used for about 8 years. And they were awesome. And they were really good at getting really quirky bits with lower print runs than normal because a lot of them, they want 1,000. And if I'm doing little booklets and stuff, thousands a bit too much maybe. So they do like pretty good shorter print runs of stuff. But I think it was I lose track of time. Last summer, I think they went into administration. So everyone who had stuff waiting on them, and they were really targeted at like bands and stuff because they were cool. Um, so it just seemed like we're a bit more accessible younger print people rather than those really corporate sort of things. That was the whole angle, but it meant there were loads of bands and charities and stuff, and they went bust. Phoenixed back almost immediately. It's the fact that I didn't even know because I had an order. I put an order in afterwards, and I had no idea any of this had happened. So I went on Twitter and went, "Ah, damn it!" Um, Phoenix back is a different company, but still used Awesome Merchandise name, just not as a trading name. And said to everyone, "Oh no, we can't fulfill any of those orders because that was a different company. We're not Awesome Merch. We're Print Inc." That is, I can't wink. Oh no, I heard a tip on winking is actually not to do that, but to push the. That's it. Push the cheek up rather than that. I'm obviously not a winker. So you see this across the bar, what do you do? um, so yeah, they went, "That's not us. That was those mean guys that couldn't fulfill your order," even though the owner of Print Inc. is the same guy. And oh yeah, we'd sacked loads of the good staff as well. Um, so it was one of those sort of things. So they screwed loads of people over. So they just went, they got no refunds because they went, "Oh, well, that wasn't us. Um, that was our other company." So those people didn't get any refunds. And then the new company was just like the guy and some skeleton staff because all the best people had gone. Um, and that was when I ordered the latest booklets, and I was like, "God damn it," because they were always so good. And I missed all the red flags because I went, "Oh, it's these guys, they're wicked." Um, but I was one of the few that actually got my things. It just took months of nagging them. Um, so what was I saying? Rune. Um, so yeah, I don't have a decent, reliable print company anymore, which I've been trying to find some replacements. I've got good, obviously, like leaflets and all that, but the sort of merch making, not so much. So normally, what I really wanted to do with those free bits of art was do a free booklet collection, and I haven't found a booklet supplier yet, so I'm gonna keep looking. I've only found like really expensive, big corporate ones. I just want the little staple bound, basically like these. I've been using these tiny booklets as little brain notes because they fit in my pocket. Um, but you know the ones that I do, though, like the bigger versions of these, and I haven't really found them yet. Just found like spiral bound and stuff. So it might be an extra thing, but I also might do some stickers and badges. Oh yeah, I found loads of badges in the garage. I'll go into that. It'll only be a 20-minute show. Um, so there's basically that sort of stuff, but otherwise the Kickstarter is going to be pretty streamlined because I want it to just go boom, done, and then afterwards, then I can put it in retail and then maybe make some money. Need some money. That was originally before I decided to not be extra miserable on stream. It's just that the shop is currently um, in its worst consistent sales I think it's ever been, apart from obviously when it was started and nobody knew who we were. But in a long time, the last few months have been terrible, and I keep thinking, autumn's coming, people will be buying miniatures, and it's just appalling. It's appalling. Like the sales are so bad. I go, time to process the orders. Don't need to do that today. And then I had 2 days off and went, time to process the order. I get that one out. And what I always say in here is, so it's not great to say how you're not doing well, because then it's a psychological thing that people think, oh well, if she's not doing well, there must be a reason, so I also will not purchase the things. But it's getting to the point where it's like, I don't know if it could get much worse. It's really weird, and I know a lot of it is well, there's a huge amount is Brexit. And as always, usual disclaimer: this is not me guilting you into buying stuff or saying that. It's just the wider picture of stuff. So never think. It's just, you're in here, you get to see my extra honest or more sadder than my usual big posts. But that does not mean that I'm targeting you, so don't never worry about that. But yeah, like Brexit has been absolutely appalling, and I've seen Ian's been trying something out with the prepaid uh, import thingies for EU, and it appears to be working. And I've got a similar thing available with Trans Global, and I want to give that a go, but it's a whole other thing because I've got to set up a whole system for it. And whilst there's a million other things on, I just haven't got around to it. But I think it means that the shipping's more expensive, but you know what it's going to be. But yeah, my orders overseas to Europe are almost dead, basically. And for some reason, my America orders have gone pretty small as well. So most of the time when I am packing, it's UK at the moment. Whereas previously, like the US has been like half of the orders, and it's just been, don't know, it's just been an absolute wasteland. And yeah, other people I spoke to have said it's just, yeah, it is tough. Everyone's skint at the moment. It's getting, loads of us don't really have much, and I still think Brexit has just been such a huge terrible thing. That was really hard because it's, again, people go, don't do politics. But even right from the start, all the stuff that we said, this is a really bad idea because these things will happen, and people went, don't be such a downer. And now it's happening, and it's that like annoying told you so thing. I'm like, they're like, oh, this is very bizarre. I'm like, no, it's not. This was all, oh, look, I'm glowing again, glowing. Um, so things like that, they just take a lot of energy and a lot of time to have a go at. Yeah, I don't know. Community minis as well has been, it's not had the uptake so far that it needs, and I'm going on pure hope that once that's caught up, and the people have the minis, because that's costing me a lot, because like I said, because it's so backdated, the money that people paid for it is long gone. So off the back of now, I've got to um, pay for all these unique sculpts because they can't use any dollies or anything because that's part of it, that they're all going to be brand new sculpts. Pay for the art, pay for the cards, pay for all that extra. Um, and there's just not been the uptake that I thought there would be on the pre-orders because there was so much hype and excitement around it. And then the pre-orders have just been like, ugh. So again, it's that like it's just trying to find some motivation at the moment, and it's hard when you kind of working your ass off. And again, no, not at you, not at you. And I know loads of people feel the same. You know, it's not just me saying this is what it's like, but just in life, you know, when you put a lot into something and then you don't get it back out, it's really easy to get into that spiral or like you know being bitter or going, why is it not working for me? And sometimes that's just you know how it is. It's just how it is. And when I'm in less of a grumpo, it's part of the challenge. It's all normal, you know, part of business and part of overcoming all the different challenges, which I'm pretty good at, to be fair. It's like survived, survived through Brexit, survived through the pandemic and all the other things that have, you know, been big hammers to small business. I'm like, I've come this far, so a little bit further, just a little bit further. But it feels like it's worse than it was during the pandemic, um, in terms of business, how the business is going, which is pretty harsh. It's very harsh. Hello, hello. We have a few other people arriving. Yes. I don't normally moan all the time, I swear. At this pig mug, pig stuff, pigs. Although they've gone quiet now. Carol's eating of inanimate objects is getting out of control. So they knocked that bottle over the other night, and then when I woke up, it was all over the floor, and then the lid was off and half eaten, I assume, by Carol. But I think, yeah, just me saying things have been a bit crap at the moment. It's all those little bits, so you know what it's like when it just sort of adds up. And then that combined, because you feel, and I think it's partly society, where you feel if you put a lot of energy into something, you should get the thing back out, and it's just not always how it works. Um, but it's almost like a um, entitlement or something, where it's like, well, I've done this, so why don't I get this? So trying to like, override your brain, you know, you're like monkey brain or whatever with monkey brain, lizard brain, isn't it? Yeah, with rationale rather than that like that sort of thing. So I think that's just not been helping with the general like bummed out thing. 'Cause it's like I'm doing all this stuff, this is awesome, and then the actual result of it is like. So I mean, I'm going to post in Becky's cave afterwards, and you can even get a head start. Is I want more people to post their bad Squiddo minis in the group because I was scrolling down the group and it was like it's mostly just memes at the moment. I want to see some Squiddo games, some games with the minis, what you've been painting, some of your stuff. And usually when I post that, people put it all in that thread, and I want different threads, so you could start and that would help cheer me up as well. If you put your favorite Squiddo mini as a new thread, or favorite one you've painted, or just one that you really want and you haven't got yet, just to get a bit of buzz. I think that helps. And again, with like stuff being tough, another thing is social media exploding, so people aren't seeing things and it's getting worse and worse. um so it is just like everything, everything at once, and it's not just me. I'm just one of the few ones that actually talk about it. It's affecting all small, not just me. A friend I met up with yesterday was telling me even the price of glass has doubled because she's in the glass industry. So the glass has doubled, and it's just how like, everything is doubling, but none of our wages are getting more. So that's not just it's just me; it's everywhere. Yes, Daniel, dioramas, do it. Yes, I like your painting. Um, yay, yay, that's what we're on. So yeah, instead of just me being a bum, bum about it all, I'm just going, oh, it's all rubbish. It's not what I want to do, and I want to keep people excited and invigorated. See, I'm doing it now by actually doing it. I'm like invigorating myself. I never want to be just like, stuff's rubbish. Oh, no one buys my things. Because it's the worst look ever. When I see other people do it, I think, oh, dude, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. You need to, that's not going to get people to buy them. Just going, I'll just give up. Um, but I totally appreciate like that's how you can feel a lot of the time. But the answer to it is just to let's get some motivation. Let's get some Squiddo posts on the go. Post them up on your other social media. Give me a tag because then I can share it and stuff. Stuff like Instagram, I like putting them onto the story. Um, yeah, like Jez is in film and TV, says that's dead too. No work due to the US strikes. Support them though. Like, yeah, it's just like you can just switch out what I've said for all these different industries, and it's just really, really tough. And that's it. So people are having a tough time, prices going up, um, and yeah, wages not matching it. What was I looking at? It was a TikTok or something about it was like house prices and wages, and it's like, well, not, but it was in comparison to being able to buy or something, and it's like that, and then the house prices and the wages just sort of goes, and it feels like that with lots of stuff. So yeah, people's disposable income's not there. Something I had a really good meeting about though on Friday. Um, was my game because I was like, what is going to get people to buy these Gundam minis? Because part of it, I think, as well, in all of the other stuff, it's not the main thing. I'm like, there's a lot of saturation, especially with STLs. There's just a million people making minis because the barrier to entry is lower, which is like that's not a bad thing. And again, that's all standard. I do like the business game, so it is standard business. That suddenly it's like yeah, a billion people are making minis, and if people have got printers, you can just buy them. And I don't want to go that route because that's not what I'm interested in. If I was purely in it for business, I might, but then because it's not what I'm into, I'd rather just do a different job. If that makes sense. So I like doing hand sculpted and hand cast. That's the thing that brings me joy and why I do it. Um, and that's always why I do it and why I martyr myself to an extent. But it's because the end result is really really satisfying and lovely. But if I was doing it purely as a business, I wouldn't. I'd just go get a job somewhere. There's I would just get a day job and then just do the other stuff as a hobby, like writing about women from history as a hobby or something. Um, so that's why I do get a bit stubborn sometimes with what I want to do it, what I want it to be. But I don't know where I went with that. We're not going to be selling STLs basically, but I have no problem with people doing that. But it just means there is a lot. So like, what are the reasons for people to actually buy them? And looking at who is doing well, I'm like, it's a game. It's got to be a game, and it's something I've avoided because it's just so much more energy. Because I'd obviously have to learn the game, and I cannot write a game uh, or games, that sort of thing. So we were talking about getting some more movements with gunny pets at least, just to start off. And I've been through a few people really to be writing it. We've had a few different people have a little go, and I might potentially might have something now um, to do a little bit of gunny pets. And then if that's a little startup, because what I really wanted to expand on that one as well and get more little animals in trucks and stuff. Excuse me on that. And again, they're like, oh, that's not quite, our believable female minis. But I'm like, it's still a huge part of us, isn't it? Guinea pigs. Look at those guys. And in my guilt, I'm kind of like, Annie, why are you doing a ghoul Kickstarter? It's nothing to do with the mission. You've gone too far. And I'm like, I bloody love ghouls. That's why I'm doing a ghoul Kickstarter because I can. Um, so sometimes it's like things don't make the most, optimal business sense. But if I was operating 100% on optimal business sense, the company would not look as cool as it does because that's what makes it me and Bad Squiddo is having all of the little quirky bits and bobs. Tim says it's worth getting someone to say Statland for Gaslands and so on as an interim solution. With Gasland, well, because I'm part of the Friends of Gaslands program, I can put the Gaslands logo on them. But what I've been doing with that is you use them as remote control cars, which a lot of people take. So there's that. But I know what you mean. there have been with the female minis, the stuff that I can't talk too much about, but for those, I've been talking to people about using their like doing a collaboration basically to have rules for so the official, so it's not just me leeching off someone else's game, but so that you can put some of the minis into the games. You know, people that don't have um, minis of their own ranges, but they just have rules and stuff like that. So there's lots that can be done. So it is positive. It's just when you're knackered, and it's partly I think I very much need to finally start this goddamn process to get ADHD diagnosed, or just to look, because I hate mentioning it because I always feel like that person that's like, I've diagnosed myself with thing because I saw it on the internet. But there's obviously a difference between that and someone who's read a lot about something and has gone, ah, this sounds like me, which is pretty much what I've oh god, coffee there. Um, pretty much what I've done. So I don't want an ADHD diagnosis because it might be something else. But from my non-medical non-medical looking up of stuff, it seems to fit with a lot of things. Um, so if I did actually get on that track and get some medication, I think that would massively help as well. Because a lot of this week I've just been in absolute shutdown of just staring at the wall and just going, cannot. It's like the absolute executive dysfunction thing, and that sort of thing obviously sets me back because I'm arguing with my own brain. So I thought maybe if I ended up switching medication and something like that, it's just the whole other world would open up. Because sometimes the biggest hindrance to Bad Squiddo sometimes is me, but then the biggest strength of Bad Squiddo is me. So if I can just, level it out a bit, get rid of the hindrance a little bit, because that'll be it. Because I've been awesome. I've been really plowing through stuff. Um, and then it's like, aha, brain will take over and absolutely sabotage everything. Like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, that's been a bit of a rambly one. Hopefully not been too much of a misery. And there's a whole load of people watching, so hello. And so we do normally talk about more, but when I haven't done much in the week, there's not much. I haven't got all this cool stuff. I did some trade orders. They're what's keeping me going at the moment. The shops. So shops buying stuff. So they're selling them. They're selling them. I even know stuff like the search engine optimization and all this, and if I used a different web cart, maybe things would pop up more on Google search and all that sort of stuff. But that's all thousands of pounds to get that changed, which I do not have. So there are solutions. It is frustrating when solutions to things are money. I just need money to make the money. God damn it. Don't know where I was going with that thingy. I've got through my notes. What else was I going to say before? Oh yeah, so my current brain. When I had the days off, I decided I was going to get rid of more of my belongings. That's what you do. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing today. Clearing. I found Baggy. He's been missing. Baggy the bag, for at least a year. I found him in a carrier bag in the garage, just in a carrier bag. I was like, oh, sorry, dude. So he's back. He's back in the office now. Whew. I don't know where he was for ages. But I've been rootling around in the garage, just kind of clearing out stuff because one of my stuff is bothering me. Tidying is bothering me. If I get rid of the stuff, I won't need to tidy, as well as finding stuff to eBay and get some precious cash, and as well as getting rid of stuff. So I will be doing some eBaying. So there might be some treasures about, as I just try and it's just cash flow again as another standard business, like grumble always. Right, I am going to pootle around in the garage again until I find an enormous spider, and then have to. I stopped my garage pootle last time because I picked something up and it had this huge guy in it, huge guy in it, that I picked up and then went ah and threw it across the room. So I can go back now and tentatively. I'm all right with them. It's just the big guys, not into that. So yeah, be going around, and might find some more treasure. I did find some. So I found a load of badges in there, which I'm going to put onto the shop as well once I've sorted through them. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe tidying and clearing things will clear the brain, and then we can solve the world, maybe. Um, provide yes. Yeah, I do need to have a baggie holding today's newspaper. Saying, "I am fine now. Absolutely." Badges? What about badges? I'm zoned out again. What? Badges? Badges. So of course it's only going to be a 10-minute stream. It's 45 minutes long. It's because there's people there, and I'm like, oh, there's people watching. Oh, I don't want to go and leave you. So yeah, come back next week. I'll sure I'll be much more perky next week. Um, yeah. Oh, badges. Oh. Yeah, check out that exhibition as well if you're around Scunthorpe, and have a look at whether you can come to the premiere, which is the 18th of October. Should be ace. You get to see me. Woo! Woo! Um, I appreciate that, Jill. Yeah, it's always that mix of honesty, but I don't just be a bummer. But yeah, by next week, hopefully next week will be awesome. I'll have got I've sent the Kickstarter off for approval, which was part of the stress. Look at those colours. I've got that iridescent thing on the bottom of this. So when it hits, it goes rainbow. So that's what's going on here. Got this sort of rainbow face. Um, oh yeah, I was in a pub yesterday and there was an Element Games sticker, and I was like, God damn that! If that's what's going on, totally got to like put some bad Squiddo stickers around Nottingham. I'm like, sticker game, eh? Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad I did do the stream because yeah, I like that people can hang out and have their little chat in the comments. So even if you just ignore what I'm saying, it's still a nice little community thing, isn't it? That's like quite partly why I do it. That was a classic man there. Oh, great booze up. There he is. That's the lad. I was going to say yes. So getting a Kickstarter approved is always good because they can take bloody ages to approve it. So I sent it off for approval Friday. Woo! Still hasn't been approved, but hopefully in the week it will. And then you get that preview, that sign up page, which is getting more important as well. So once that's up, click the notify me thing. And the more people you get there, then the more the algorithm blesses you. And I was talking again yesterday in my rambles in the pub about how the algorithm is the new god. Is the new god. Everything we do is to please the algorithm, which is very strange. But yeah, I'm sure next week's stream, I'll have a lot more to talk about. It'll be a lot more chirpy, and there'll be some cool stuff. So come back, please come back. Have good afternoons and Sundays, and don't do too much because it is a day of rest. Thanks for coming along. You are ace, and you've cheered me up. See, I'm like cheerier now than I was at the start. I was like, oh. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And goodbye.